What an absolutely incredible finish. What a day to finish this test match. They've talked about a famous test at Headingley in the past. Well, we've seen one today, Mitch Johnson.
We have.
It was just incredible, wasn't it? What did you make of it?
I think I'm in shock.
Yeah.
I think everyone's in shock.
Best you've seen?
It's probably the best game of test match cricket I've seen live myself. As a supporter, as someone who's up in the media box now, it was incredible to, witness that. Was just mind-blowing. I mean, the crowd just got right behind England and Ben Stokes, and some of the shots that he played were just out of this world. I think it was almost set up for that sort of situation as well, when Butler had sort of come in and the one day sort of feeling, the vibe was starting to get there, and I don't know, it was just so up and down, this whole test match. I don't know, it's just blown me away. It's crazy.
I feel the same way. Now, you mentioned Ben Stokes. Obviously, he was the story of today.
Yep.
You've been talking about him as a bowler and wanting to compete and take matters into his own hands. The way he controlled that, that's surely got to go down as one of the greatest innings in a chase that the game has ever seen.
Well, I mean, there was talk about him, the way he batted last night. I think we even mentioned it, that he was 2 runs off 50 balls. So, I mean, his strike rate wasn't great, but he played it to perfection.
Yeah.
There was times where I thought, is he going a little bit too slow here? Is he missing opportunities? But I think in his own mind, he was just trying to tire out the bowlers, wait to get through that new ball, the second new ball, and he was able to. I mean, he had a little bit of luck here and there, but I think in general he had a really good game plan and he stuck to it and didn't really shy away from it. So when you've got a solid game plan like that as a player, as a cricketer, and you can stick by it, then you just need a couple of guys to stick around, and I think there's got to be a bit of credit that goes to
Jack Leach.
Right at the end there. Just it could have been a really tough situation for him where he gets out, and it just would have been a nightmare for him. But look, the results of that today, and just the up and down of this series, I think it just keeps it alive, and I think it just keeps Test match cricket so interesting.
Oh yeah, who says Test match cricket is boring? We're watching today. So you mentioned obviously that partnership with Stokes and Leach. Where do you rank that Stokes innings? How highly do you rate it in terms of what you've seen?
Well, I think it's probably the best innings I've seen, and it's hard to say that as an Australian, but if I'm being honest, it was just, I was standing up on my feet and I was almost shaking, because obviously wanted the Australians to go out there and play well and win this, retain the Ashes, should I say, and that's that's where my heart is. But from a game point of view, to watch someone play the way he has, he charged in on day 2, and what he did there as well, day 2 or day 3 I think it was, but just the way he gets the ball, and he is a competitor. He doesn't give up. He has got great skills, and he's just getting better and better, and the way he's batting now is just improved out of sight. I mean, he's got natural talent there, but he looks so good in his stance. He's confident, and the biggest thing for me is his defence. Someone like that who's got all the shots, it's really good to watch, but it's when they can defend like that, makes it even more difficult as a bowling unit. And he just proved how skillful he was today.
Yeah, the Cumbrian callus, they might be calling him now. Now, let's talk about Australia.
Yep.
They started off bowling 4 maidens.
Yeah.
Really tight, really stifling them. They got the wicket of Joe Root. But then what happened? Was that possibly the worst day they've had in a very strong time bowling throughout this series?
Yeah, it's a tricky one. I mean, if you look at the result, it's probably the worst day for them, and their reaction at the end just sort of said it all. But they started so well. They had 4 maidens on the trot. It's what you try and do as a bowling unit. You try and build up dots, build up maidens, put the pressure back on them. England looked like they were trying to get to that new ball, and I thought, this could be a little bit iffy if that ball is moving around. That's probably the toughest time to score, but also can fly off the bat and you can score freely. So just sort of had that feeling. They got the wicket of Root, which he'd actually been practicing in the nets that morning. He'd been practicing that shot with Collingwood throwing Nathan Lyon's spinners or type spinners to him. So he was actually practicing that shot. So for me, it was a bit of a premeditated shot. So it was obviously in his head. He got out. Then it just sort of opened the floodgates a bit. I think Ben Stokes come out and just played a natural game of cricket.
Did you think that the bowlers were they kind of searching for a wicket in a little bit of a way when they sort of started to score more freely?
With the old ball this morning, I don't think so. I thought they bowled really well. And then when that new ball came on, I think they just bowled two sides of the wicket. Probably were searching a bit too hard. And they realised that sort of just before the lunch break, and I think they just pulled it back a little bit. So there was those ebbs and flows throughout that first session. And I think even after the break, they still bowled well. They bowled enough good balls, but it probably wasn't as consistent as it has been throughout this test match for them. So, look, that'll be disappointing for them, but you've got to give credit as well to what Ben Stokes has done and what England did. They fought hard. That they really did, grind it out. And it's hard for guys when those situations, they get close to the end and there's so much pressure on. You can feel it. You can feel it yourself when you're just watching the game. So,
the pressure kind of told too when we saw some unusual mistakes. I mean, Marcus Harris, you can forgive for dropping a catch. Nathan Lyon would normally never have missed a run-out chance like that.
Yep.
And
they lost an appeal with the LBW, which I found quite well. I thought out straight away, and I thought at least clipping leg or hitting leg stump, and then you see the replay and you see it actually straighten as well, like a little bit of not turn, but just straighten on its line. So look, it wasn't the best decision, and I think England still had one left. So you think as an umpire, he must have really thought that was going straight down the leg side. So it's a big mistake for me. But you can't live off those as well. There was other things in the game, like I say, that probably went too hard with the ball when it was new, the second new ball, and just other little things. They missed a couple of chances and just sort of got away from them a little bit. But look, they've bowled so well this series so far, the bowlers, and we've said it through the start of the series that it was going to be a bowlers game between the bowlers, the England and the Australian bowlers. So you see the way the Australian boys bowled in that first innings, and you just go, well, they could have done that in the second innings, but England could have batted the way they batted in that second innings in the first innings. So that's just the game. That's how it works, and it's all about pressure. And they won the big moments today. England won the big moments.
They really did. Now the series is still alive.
Yep.
How do you see this going forward? Of course, we still have Steve Smith to come back.
Yep.
But England still may have James Anderson back again.
He's pushing hard, yeah.
Yeah, so where do you see this series, the balance in this series now?
Well, England will probably talk about momentum. I guess journalists will talk about momentum as well.
No, I don't believe in momentum, so I don't talk about it.
No, but that'll be something that's probably. Tim Payne was asked about it in his interview just after the game, and he seemed pretty calm and relaxed. And look, you've got to get over these things pretty quickly and move on. It's a bit of a worry how some of the guys, I guess, I worry about their mindset, how they're going to come out of this. Like a Nathan Lyon, you could see he was visibly upset. That really hurt him, and that's a good thing as well, because you know how much it means to someone like that when you have that opportunity out there to win a game, and it just gets away from you, slips through the hands. But he just needs the guys around him now. They all need to stick together, and they will. JL is really good like that. They'll stick together and move on and just keep training hard. I think you have to let those things go and get better.
Yeah, well, it was really an incredible day, an incredible week, and this series it's basically building itself up to be something very, very special indeed. So make sure you keep up to date with all the news as the circus moves on to Old Trafford.